Alright, here we have a 93-94 model Ford Ranger. It's a V6 5-speed. Clutch is out of it, and I'm going to be doing a clutch job on it. I'm not exactly sure how much of it I'll get on film, but I thought y'all might want to see some of it. Not sure what the engine is yet. We'll pop the hood and find out here shortly. Pretty nice little old truck. I think it's got like 155,000 on it. Nearly new tires. Doing this for a buddy of mine. Alright, this has got the 3.0 V6 with a 2-wheel drive 5-speed. It's a 3.0 based on that. Won't focus, but it's a 3.0. Alright, we got the shifter out of this here Ranger. It's pretty simple. It's got 4 screws in the center console, which is right there, which holds the boot and everything. And it's got 3 Torx 30 screws underneath to get the shifter to unbolt, and then it just pulls out. And it's always good to plug the hole up to where you don't get no dirt and nothing in it. Alright, now we're going to move into some bottom end work. But before we go underneath, we are going to disconnect this battery, as we will be taking out the starter. It's always best to disconnect at least one of the cables, preferably the positive or the negative one, doesn't matter. I'm going to disconnect them both. That way there's no chance. That way when you take the starter out, none of the cables short or anything like that. Alright, now I've got the starter out. It's held in with 3 bolts that are up in there. Pretty easy to see. One of the easiest starters to get out I think I've ever done. I've got the wire plug unplugged up there. Right there. And I've got the speedo gear out back here, and also have the drive shaft out, and it's laying back there with a rag around the end like you should always do. It's held in with 4 bolts, 12mm 12 points, and this one up here was an 11mm for the speedo cable, which I've also plugged the hole. Next I'm going to work on popping out the slave cylinder hydraulic line, which if you get a kit from Advance or AutoZone or something like that, it comes with the tool to pop that loose. It's just a little plastic ring around it that you slide in, or you can sometimes use a couple of flathead screwdrivers. I got lucky and got the kit with the tool, so I'm going to use it. After that, we're going to be working on taking the bolts out of the cross member to hold the transmission mount, and then the 1 bolt here and the 1 bolt over on this side in order to remove the mount from the transmission. And I'll be pulling the cross member and dropping it down to get to the bolts on the transmission. Alright, bring it back in the next update. Alright, now we have the transmission out. That was a bore to get out. We ended up having to cut the exhaust and drop it down. Its transmission is sitting right there. I'm going to work on getting the pressure plate, clutch disc, and flywheel off, and also work on removing the slave cylinder out of the transmission. We're on the home stretch of this thing now. The hard part's over with. Let's see if we can't get her done. Alright, got the flywheel off, and this is what I'm greeted with. Guy wondered why I wanted to do the rear main seal in the truck. I noticed it was leaking, but I didn't think it was that bad. That's actually one of the worst ones I've seen yet. Pretty bad. All that nasty buildup and everything. It's no wonder the clutch didn't survive. And also, they had the clutch disc in it backwards. So that didn't help out none. Alright, we'll get this rear main seal cleaned up and replaced and get the new flywheel put on. Alright, we now have the transmission actually back into the truck. I installed the new slave cylinder / throwout bearing and everything prior to doing that. And got 1 bolt holding it in. I'm fixing to get her all bolted back in and then work on getting the starter in, getting the cross member in, getting her back together. It's been a rough one, but we'll get her done. Alright, here's the wrap up video for the truck. Everything turned out good. drives well now. Clutch is fully functional. Fixing to take it back to the owner. It was a rough job, but we got her done. I drove up to the car wash and give it a good washing. It's been sitting for a long time because the clutch was out of it. And everything's good to go. Thanks for watching.